Bright on here.
Hey
guys, welcome to Waste Not Wednesday. We go live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, and we take junk, things out of the garage, and we turn them into home decor. Today, I really wanted to just play with cottage color and play with milk paint, show you guys how to do chippy. And Zeb found these candlesticks. I legit like this. I have
She's like, where did we even get these?
Junknesia. That's when you forget where your junk came from. I have no idea.
So these have been in the barn up behind the stanchion, so not easy to get to. That's where I milked Buttercup, was in the stanchion. And it was just sitting in there, and I moved the stanchion because I gave that to the person that bought Buttercup from us. Yes. And these like were in a box, and they fell down when I was moving the stanchion. I'm like, oh yeah, we should probably use those. And we've had a ton of these forever. We've actually sold a bunch of them. We picked these up probably 5 years ago. Yeah,
somebody
were on the side
me,
of the
hey,
road.
There's old cabinet shop. So they're like new old stock. They're from like the 70s. There's an old cabinet shop with a bunch of wood. I took all that I wanted. Here's the address. So they made sure to cherry pick it first.
That was when we were still driving the Armada.
Yeah.
Like it's been
a hot minute. Are you sure? Have we had it that long?
That's been like, yeah, it's been that long. It was before I think it was right before or right around when I quit. So
it was after we owned the shop. I remember,
sure?
Yes, I remember putting them on the back porch of the shop.
Okay, maybe not.
So it's been a minute, but we got a ton for free, and we've probably made literally thousands of dollars off of that haul. It was a good haul. And I thought we had sold them all, but Zeb found a box.
That's these that we're talking about.
The balusters. And again, I know where those came from, but I have no idea where these came from.
So these are from that little house that we were actually looking at. She was trying to clear it out.
The crafty lady?
Yeah, it was right before we purchased this home. Yeah, we did.
But they didn't accept it.
No.
No, that was after we bought this house because we were trying to buy it for like
we've done a lot of mixing and mashing, and that's been over 3-4 years ago now. So, if I remember it all straight, good luck.
So what I'm using here is Gray Skies, and it has a built-in sealer. So this is cottage color. It dries darker, and you kind of want to go dark with like a light over the top. So I'm going to do some of these in Gray Skies, and then I'm going to do some of them in Americana, and then I'm going to do some of them with Dark and Decrepit. And you really want whatever your milk paint is going to go over to have a finish. So there's some resist for the milk paint to make it chippy. Because some people tell me, I can't get milk paint chippy on raw wood, and we want to show you how to make
it's pretty
new
hard.
Stock look old.
It's pretty difficult to get it to chip on raw wood unless you're doing several coats of milk paint, because it's going to absorb the moisture and those pigments right down into the wood fibers on raw wood.
So we thought this would be fun. And I wanted to cut up. So if you guys watched our thrift video when we went to DI the other day, there was like this giant thing that Zeb wants to turn into a closet, which I don't think is going to work.
No, not a closet, just a hanger.
Just a hanger, but it's not going to work. It's too thick
for
hangers. Anyways, I wanted to cut it up into salvage, but Zeb didn't want to. So.
It's so big, and it is older, probably like, I would say at least 40s, somewhere around there. And it was like a big mirror harp is what it was. There was a big mirror in there. And we're talking like this thing is probably 7 feet tall or taller. And it had a big mirror. And I want to find a mirror to put back in there.
So it's going to hang out in the barn for a while. We might even have a mirror in the barn. Let's be honest.
All right. Those are all de-leafed. There's like leaves that blow.
We're going to do while we're getting ready for the New Year's and everybody's de-junking and organizing. We are going to be working through our stash. So in our thrifting videos, because those are like seriously the only thing people watch anymore, we're going to be throwing on like thrift flips and stuff in the back. And maybe we'll put more of that on Jamie and Zeb.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, we can just throw whatever we happen to be doing on Jamie and Zeb, which is our blog channel, and people watch it.
Well, it's what we do for the day. Like if I'm cooking or you're baking something, although she's baked bread like 3 or 4 times, and I've yet to catch her in the act.
It's not like a planned thing. It's not like I'm doing it for a video. I'm doing it just because that's what we
and
eat.
You're so fast at it. You just in here whipping it out. By the time I walk downstairs, you've got the recipe together, and it's like rising.
Well, the last time I made bread, it was on Sunday. We don't really film on Sunday, but so definitely make sure you guys are subscribed to Jamie and Zeb channel if you like the DIYs, because we may wind up moving some of those just over there in a more looser vlog style.
Like
and
the
then
table build.
the
We're
Jamie
gonna build
Ray
a new
Vintage is
table.
going to be more like all of our thrifting and reselling, because that's what people want. And you know what's crazy? So we're going to just go on a little talk about here where we just talk about random stuff.
Curious rant.
I've been looking at analytics on YouTube. On our last video, we have 30-something thousand views, which is fantastic, because a year ago, we were lucky to break 10,000. Our channel was basically broken. And that's when I started editing and putting out very consistently timed videos, like every Monday, every Thursday. Like I started being pretty consistent with it. And I was like, okay, we got to try something new. That's why I did that. But out of over 30,000 views, only 1,500 are from our subscribers. So that tells me that the people that have subscribed to us are no longer really probably even getting like notifications. So we're reaching a new audience, and that audience loves the Goodwill thrifting. Not just any thrifting, you have to go to Goodwill. That's what we're noticing. And luckily, Goodwill is close to where we like to do other stuff, and we've been finding some really good stuff at the bins. So that's what Jamie Ray Vintage is going to have, a lot of that, and we'll try to throw thrift flips on the end of those videos for the diehards that want to see the thrift flips, to keep doing that. But I think Jamie and Zeb is going to be more of like the day-to-day stuff. We're going to be working on, probably hopefully start today, working on a new dining table. And the build is going to be completely on Jamie and Zeb.
Yeah, well, and it's going to be, I feel like we can have a little more fun and creativity over there, just because, you know, it's kind of like when we built the house. People were really interested in building the house, and we got a whole bunch of new people, but then we lost all of our furniture people that really like to watch us flip furniture.
It's a wild ride, this content creation. So I blame Bree for your uptick in the bins. You know what though? Bree, her bin stuff is completely different than our bins. And we actually have gone, when's the last, we went to the bins like a couple years ago. The reason why we don't, to be honest, the reason why we hadn't gone is because we're lazy. The bins are half an hour from our house. And our other thrift store that we were going to every week is 10 minutes.
Maybe.
But that's the other thing that's pushed us, is that thrift store used to be a honey hole, and now it just doesn't have the goods. And if you don't have the junk, when the junk gets tough, the tough get junkin', you know? So we've had to get a little bit creative, and we found some things. And the bins have been fun. This week we found sterling silver. I've never found sterling in the wild in my entire thrifting career.
Well, like the thrift store might have it, but
they're gonna mark it up.
They put it under like a collectibles glass, and you gotta talk to one of the people working there, and they unlock it and let you look at it, and then you got to go buy it and bring the receipt back to prove that you bought it, and then they give it to you. You know, so.
And our bins are mostly closed. Like, we have to really search to find decor. So we're not a heavy decor in the bins. It's not a thing. And what I do, because the people that go there are for clothes, people are like, why don't you have gloves? Because I'm not really a digger. I just go behind somebody, and when they throw stuff, I look at the stuff they throw. And if it looks interesting, I pick it out like this and put it in my pile.
All right. So Jamie's getting these all ready for milk paint. Painting the gray skies underneath. Are you just going to go gray skies on all of them?
No, I'm going to do 4 gray skies, 4 Americana. Oh, actually, I'll do 5, 5, 5. So no, I'll do 4 gray skies, 5 Americana, and then 5 in dark and decrepit. So, I want to show people different base coats.
So these are like cedar fencing boards that we stained a long time ago. I cut them down. We stained them. We used to have a mermaid cut out. It was for a pinners conference that we were teaching at. And we had a mermaid cutout that went on here. And these are the extras. I keep finding these boards all over the barn. And I'm going to decoupage on them. But I was in the shop this morning, and Maria and Keziah have been working really hard to, every now and then we have papers that are either like slightly ripped or crumpled up a little more than we like from shipping, right. Or like this one here. Let me show you.
Well, don't you want to paint that white before you decoupage?
Yes, I am going to. These are actually for you, for cards, for tags.
Oh yeah, I wrapped all of our presents, and we sell those tags for the Christmas tags, and I ran out.
So like this
Did I need more?
one has some ink spots where it's not supposed to have them. And so it's just like this, you can see here, like the printer messed up and dropped some ink randomly out there, or it wasn't the right sizing. So they're seconds, and we have these packs that we have seconds of. They're usually like 3-4 things.
I think they're 4. It says on there. But if you guys like good deals and you like randomness, we sell quite a bit of them.
But for the most part, the papers are mostly usable.
If they're completely unusable, we do not put them in the thing.
Yeah,
we use them ourselves or recycle them or whatever.
But yeah, so this one's rice paper pack. This was on the wrong size paper. This one here is all crumpled in the corner. Nothing really wrong with it once you decoupage it. This one here is crumpled. This one here printed the wrong size. Like, look at that.
It's still totally
usable. It's not really supposed to have a border like that, but totally usable paper. So we have these packs. So I'm going to use some of them today, but I wanted to show you. And then this is the larger style paper. The
Hold on,
20
somebody
by
asked
30.
where we got the wood. This was all found or given to us.
Yeah,
this is left over from Pinterest. Zeb did not turn any of this.
No, these aren't turned.
We gave a big explanation in the beginning of the video about it, but those balusters we found, they're from the 70s. These I actually don't really remember where they came from. Zeb seems to remember. Where did you say these came from? Oh, the crafting yard sale of a hoarder, but I don't know.
So these are 20 by 30. This one here looks like it got wet in the corner up here, but you know, this is there's nothing really wrong with this. If you're going to decoupage it, you're going to get it wet anyway. That's Warwick Castle. We have, if you don't want the seconds, we have a good stock on all of these currently, unless they've been discontinued. Some of them are in here because they've been discontinued. I think these ships ones here have been discontinued.
If you guys like the DIYs, when we put out a video where we're doing DIYs, be sure to comment and share on those. Like if we paint furniture, the last straight up DIY video we did got about 1/4 of it. So if they get more views, it's what we do. But I'm thinking if thrifting does well, which we do enjoy, we'll just thrift and then we'll just flip at the end, which makes sense in a video because it's really what we're doing for the day. Because we have to continue to do it because it's what we do.
Yeah.
And I love shopping, but you can't just shop and not actually do anything with the stuff you buy. And then you become a hoarder, and that's a whole different channel.
Yeah, that's a different thing that we don't want to go down that.
I don't want to be a hoarder.
So this is one pack I'm showing you, and they're highly discounted. Normally these papers are $6.95 or $6.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Each.
I like to say I'm a border hoarder, like I'm a borderline hoarder. Okay, next cottage color I'm going to be using is Americana. Thank you, Caitlin. So he's showing the big, we have the rice papered seconds, and then we also have decoupage seconds.
This is like tissue paper, like 18-pound tissue paper. So
there's 2 listings there.
I'm trying to see what's even wrong with this one. Maybe it's just folded in the corner here.
Caitlin says she attempted to make an ugly holiday sweater for her boys to use at school, but did not plan her time well. You should have just come over here. You know we got all the supplies. You know who's a supply hoarder is Jack, because he's a crafter. He is a crafter.
He has like
he makes
20...
all my, he'll probably make some more over the break, but he makes all my snowflakes for my windows. He loves to cut things out of cardboard and paint. He loves felt and pom-poms and pipe cleaners. He can make some pretty good stuff out of that.
Well, and he has like 20 notebooks
Legos
up there that are like 90% drawn in, and like that's, you know, he's keeping them around.
I made sure that Zeb got his desk finished in his room because he likes to. All
right, I'm going to show you this real quick, and then I'm going to move on to actually doing some work.
To actually painting. I'm over here slaving away.
So I'm not going to pull these all out, but you know, there's a bunch of different types. So you can see there's 4 papers in each of these. These are the big 20 by 30s. Same with this one, the big butterflies. So, I mean, if you're into a good deal, we have a bunch of these. So like this one here, the ink went all the way down. This is the A4 rice paper. It went all the way down with the printer. It like drug it and whatever. The print head was dirty, something. But this half of the paper is still really usable. And so is this half. And you have like 2 great seams. If you had like a small frame or something, or even just like the side of like a box or a tote, totally usable.
Kaylin, if you can't find it by searching, check the sale collection for the rice paper seconds. I know they're in there. And Alley Cats, I don't know why it would have. So our Jamie Ray Vintage group, maybe it depends on which one you're trying to join. If you're trying to join JRV subscribers, that's a paid group through Facebook, and Facebook puts people in there. We don't do that. It happens automatically when you sign up. It's just like being a channel member on YouTube, only it's on Facebook. And then we have Jamie Ray Vintage group, but that also does automatically. If you answer all the questions correctly, it'll automatically add you into that group. We have what's called like a digital automatic assistant. So it's not even like, so maybe you didn't answer all the questions, or maybe you're trying to get into the subscriber group, or maybe you're trying to get into business coaching, which is closed and will be permanently closing the end of the year because we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
At least for right now.
We put it on pause.
We put it on pause because we just have other things that we've got to focus on. And I only have so many hours in the day, and Zeb only has so many hours, and we're not getting the things that we need to do accomplished. Oh, it's set of 4 misprint A4 rice paper. Perfect. Thank you, Shelly. There you go. Caitlin's got it. So I'm going to do 5 of these. This is Americana. This is like a very good, it's close to Apothecary, but not exactly. It's like my take on it. It's a little bit more blue than Apothecary. I think this one will be good to do with the flour sack milk paint over it. And then I'm going to do these ones dark. I do love putting cottage color under milk paint because it saves me the step of having to put a sealer on there since it has a built-in sealer. I'm wondering though, like if it would be better if I did 2 coats because then it would have more sealer. I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to get that.
I feel like if you heat gun it, you're going to get all the chippy you want.
Okay. I'm just going to keep painting and then we'll go from there.
I just thought that they were fun, little, make little sets of candlesticks. And we find these in the thrift store. They're usually 75 cents to $1.50 this size. And they're usually already all painted up crazy.
Not crazy. They're usually just dark.
Well, no, I've seen them like all kinds of different colors,
like
and
nutcrackers.
people are trying to like make them look like something. Honestly, we have enough of these. I was tempted to like make like little bell ornaments out of the top, make this an ornament, because we did that a few years ago where we took a bunch of like spindles and broken turned pieces off of chairs and stuff, and we made a bunch of ornaments out of them, and they still look awesome. The kids use them every year on the tree.
Yeah, we have 2 trees. We have our tree, which is up front, and I wouldn't say ours is a fancy tree by any means. And actually, the dogs have been into it. We have all the ornaments for the Advent on there, and the kids pull them off to pull the scriptures. And so now my tree is like it's definitely askew. It needs some TLC. But anyways, this is our front room tree, and then the tree that the kids decorate. Their tree looks good. I don't not
Odelia
like
and Eliza have kind of been spearheading the decor on that one, and they've done a really good job.
And the kids, it just kind of, I put all their fun ornaments together, like the things that they make, and they just make a lot of like okay, if you have fancy ornaments, then you have like random ornaments. I just don't think that goes well. So I feel like it's good to have it all together. Whereas that tree is like fun. It's got all kinds of random stuff. So the more the kids put on it, the better.
Well, every year, especially through grade school, like I don't know that the kids are really making ornaments in their classes at junior high, but every year Jack brings home a new ornament still.
Yeah, the kids are like, how come Jack's the one that's mostly on that tree? I'm like, because he's the one that's most recently made these ornaments. I have no idea where the ornaments have gone over the years. I don't throw them out, but I don't know where they're at. We've moved. And so I'm like, if you guys want more representation on that tree, you better make some more ornaments.
Better make some ornaments and get your picture up.
You got a hand. You can still make a hand print. All right. These. And then
So I'm going to go the base of these boards. This is just like the stain on here is very light. We just were lightly stained, and we made like 300 of these kits for Pinners Conference when we were teaching back.
I feel like we're gonna find those boards for the
I've
duration.
given a lot of them away. I left a bunch with Debbie last time we were there because I left her with the mermaids, or we sent them to her.
Yeah, we sent her the mermaid
because we don't really sell a lot of mermaid stuff. The reason we did that was it was Pinners Conference in San Diego. We were by the beach.
So somebody said, how do I look at the rice paper? So if you want to buy them individually, they are priced. There's a rice paper collection. Yep. If you want the misprints, You just click the link and
it's just a random
it's
grab
random.
bag.
For that
Like,
price, we do not list what comes in there. So
there's
it's kind
not
of
really a way to look at
a
them.
mystery bag, as it were, of the misprints. But if you want specific rice papers and you don't want them to be misprints, then just go to the rice paper or decoupage paper collection, whichever one you're looking for, and they're all listed individually there. Seb, we have been working on some new prints, trying to figure out what paper we like the best.
I actually need to print off that paper we have that I put in a frame. I think I already took it to the shop.
Yeah, we did.
In channel membership yesterday, we did a big frame. I printed it out. It was like 34 by 22 or something like that on the print. And I put that in one of the frames that we've thrifted. And I need to try decoupaging with that paper. I haven't tried decoupaging. It printed out good because I wanted to see if it would hold the color, because it's a thin paper, and the thinner you go with paper, the less water soluble it is. Like if you get it wet to decoupage it, sometimes the ink will run or things. But we're using archival ink, so I want to test that, see if it bleeds when you get it wet. It shouldn't. But a lot of it depends on the paper ink combo. The paper plays a big part in that. That's why we use rice paper, because the rice paper can handle getting a little bit wet, and it holds the ink where it goes. It doesn't smear all over when you get it wet with the sealer or whatever you're decoupaging with.
When you're waiting for that to dry, would you open the Dark and Decrepit for me and put some water in it?
Yep. So these are just going to be like little wood panels. Honestly, when I get done, I'm going to try to leave about an inch around the edges where I don't decoupage. If I can cut them out straight, I might go get my paper cutter out of the closet. So that we get nice, crisp, straight lines. But they're just going to be like little like bathroom art, or for like a hall or a gallery wall.
You know, it's funny.
Bathrooms need art. You know, sometimes you get stuck in there and you're just looking at the wall.
Our toilet room has nothing to look at.
I know. Sorry. That's why.
You're gonna decorate the toilet room. We have art I
have art over the tub.
We have art over the tub. I did that. I actually want to change it out with something new, but haven't yet.
I don't know.
But I'm not really one to decorate a bathroom because there's things that happen in the bathroom.
I don't know what the state of this.
And I don't want that stuff floating in the air all over decor. I'm pretty minimal when it comes to
the lid wasn't
bathrooms.
on tight, so we've got some stringies, but I think you've got enough in there.
Can you add some water to it? That's what I was thinking.
Just a hair.
Just a little hint of water. I'm not feeling 100% today, so you'll notice I'm not getting up and down. I'm just trying to stay sitting.
There you go.
Thank you. You are a handy assistant.
Do what I can.
Leslie said, thanks for the explanation. What were you explaining?
I was talking about paper. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like we're always explaining something. We got a lot to explain. Yes, we will be painting the chunky wood. As soon as I get done with these candlesticks, I'm going to paint the chunky wood. And then we're going to get the milk paint out and start making them painted.
Chippy.
We're 10:25. So in about 10 minutes, I should be getting going on those, and then
if you stick around to the end, we will have something finished to show you.
We're doing batch production here. This is where you just get a lot of stuff finished. Well, I think I'm gonna do Dark and Decrepit on all those. So I think I'm gonna.
I didn't even bring all these boards. There's like 30 of them in there still.
Yeah, and I think we have some here too. They're just cedar planking. Did you tell them that?
Yeah, they're just cedar fence boards that I cut down. And not even, well, they've been sitting around a while now.
We do not throw stuff out. We just eventually get to it.
Yeah. Well, it's hard for me to throw wood out. It's getting to be really pricey. We bought oak that's 8/4, so 2 inches thick, oak. It's rough sawn, so I got to process it still, plane it down, cut it to size, straighten the edges. And it was $340 for enough to build a tabletop.
We're doing pine on the bottom because it's cheaper and the legs are already pine. And I'm reusing the legs that I already have. I think we're going to redo the skirts. We got to go buy wood for the skirt. And I'm going to paint the base of my table and stain the top. Because now that we have natural wood floors in here, it's not too much white. So I feel like I can paint the base like white or cream and then stain the top. So that's the plan. because I have like antique wood chairs that I don't plan on painting. So I think they'd be pretty contrast against the white base. And I still need to find, since we're building a bigger table, I'm going to need like at least 4 more antique wooden chairs. Pressed back, but not vintage, not the ones that came out in the 80s, like actual old antique. So it takes a little bit to find what I'm looking for. I will be fine for Christmas. I'm not like sick. I'm just not feeling good. I don't know how to explain it, but I'll be fine. All right. This is, I'm going to need water, and this is thick. What color milk paint is on sale? So we have Flour Sack, which we're going to be using today, and Red Wagon, I believe. And then I don't know what the names of the colors are in Farmhouse Finishes. I think it's, I don't know. Caitlin would have to tell you. Caitlin, when you get a chance, will you drop the links to the milk paint that's 35% off this month? We have milk paint that goes on sale every month. It's like the color of the month. It's always a good deal and good time to stock up. It's like the cheapest you're going to get it for. All right, so I added a little water to thin out my dark and decrepit. This is kind of like a stain, but it has a built-in sealer. And this is going to make these dark, so that way when I distress back to it, we won't have the light wood. You could also use like layered chocolate, which is a brown paint, and water it down and do like a faux stain, but then you'd have to put a sealer over the top of it.
Oh, you're just going some of those dark. Nice.
Yeah, I talked about that.
I know, I missed it. I'm over here. I
don't always listen to everything
I
you're
got my
saying,
own
so.
situation happening over here.
You know what? The problem is that this brush is kind of, that's why I was using a little brush.
It's a little large.
It's a little large for this top. It's not a good use of my brush.
So Jamie and I were talking this morning. Every now and then we do like cooking or whatever, because people ask us. We just did a Costco haul and showed a little bit of our food storage, and actually we didn't even show it all. And
we have a lot of food.
And people are like, "What do you do with all that? Like, how do you cook through that?" So I've been showing.
I think that is a weird question.
We've been showing recipes like using it. Well, I think sometimes like you get a bunch of stuff to make things with, but it's not necessarily like full meals, and people get hung up like, what do I want to make with that?
I just mean like, we just went through COVID where there were supply shortages. People didn't leave the house. There's also been like a significant amount of natural disasters. Like, that's why you keep food at your house. It's a very, like, one of the things I've learned is like, it's a very American thing. Like, not a lot of people like in Europe, they shop all the time. So for us, it's a couple reasons.
Yep.
It's in case, what if something happened? We're self-employed, right? We don't know what is going to happen with the economy. Even as successful as people might think we are, we still scramble all the time to make things happen, because just because you get bigger, that just means you got bigger bills, expenses, employees, all that kind of stuff. And if things are tight, one of the things that we will pull back on is, okay, let's spend less money on groceries, but we still got to eat, right? So we have food storage, so that way we will still have yummy, delicious food to eat in case of natural disaster, shortage, financial issues,
or just
whatever.
a volcano in Iceland.
Yeah.
Erupt.
Like, it's like security, because guess what? If something, you can have all the money you want in the bank, which is a great idea. It's good to have money in storage. But if something natural disaster happens,
the money storage place,
otherwise known as the bank. If something happens, that money in the bank, if there's a natural disaster, that ain't going to feed you. If the stores, you can't get to them. So that's why we have food storage. It's just being prepared.
So we were talking, because we do all kinds of random stuff over there between like gardening and, you know, I was pulling out weeds, getting the flower bed ready for spring the other day with the tractor, you know, just whatever we're doing. But we were talking this morning about how we want to just like we don't have a ton of time to get out to the property and actually like work on it right now. But we're like, you know what, maybe this spring we'll just get like a little pad out there that we could build a small gazebo on, so that we have like a place we can get out of the weather or the sun if it's hot, and stay out of the dirt if we need to like prep food if we're camping or whatever, and put like a picnic table or something out there so we can enjoy it a little more without having to do like build a cabin amounts of work. So that's probably going to be happening sometime between now and the end of summer next year. And those are the kinds of things that we're doing over on that channel. I don't know why I was randomly thinking about that. Do you want me to paint these? I'm ready to decoupage. I'm going to heat gun those and decoupage.
Somebody told Caitlin that we're not a small business. There's 6 of us, 6 total employees.
In the
and
US,
my daughters occasionally help, but I wouldn't really call them employees. They are on payroll, but they step in because there's only 6 of us. When things happen, like a death in the family or somebody gets sick or they need time off at the same time, sometimes it's a lot of scramble. We are a small business. We are actually
so in the US under 100
as a micro business.
Yeah, in the United States, under 100 employees is considered a small business.
Like we're not a startup. I think a lot of people just assume we're not small because we own our own store, because we do sell a decent amount of product, and a lot of people that do what we do, they're just one person. We are small. We were talking to our accountant the other day. Oh, sorry. It's been 30 minutes, Caitlin says. We're talking to our accountant the other day, and we're turning into an S Corp from an LLC. And he goes, well, what would be reasonable to pay yourself? And I'm like, sir, if I had to pay somebody to do all the jobs that Zeb and I do, we couldn't afford it. Like, luckily, Zeb and I are scrappy and willing to do lots of different things because we can't afford to hire out every little thing that needs to be done. We're definitely a small business.
I do 100% of the maintenance at the shop and the house. Jamie mows we don't have landscapers over there. Jamie mows the grass, you know. We're still in the nitty gritty every day.
We are the construction landscape.
We have been able to step away from things like shipping for the most part.
Yeah.
Every now and then we'll go in and help if we've had a big seller, but we honestly don't have to. We have such a great team. Like they stay on top of that.
I feel like we make a mess.
Yeah.
When we go in there, we did this summer because I and Maria were both gone for a couple weeks at the same time simultaneously. We went in, but normally they're good.
Do we have liquid patina?
Caitlin says we're all having the same thoughts today. Yeah, freezer meals are awesome. I do a lot of like just basics, so then we can just make what we want.
All right, this is the liquid patina. This is the Cadillac. The best of the best. If you need a decoupage medium, right here, transfer gel, top coat, and decoupage medium. It does end up drying hard like a top coat and very clear, but just know it's very, very matte. Like it's not shiny at all. So if you need like and the more matte,
I would say it's a little bit satin. I wouldn't say it's completely
I think
matte.
it's really matte to me.
All right, I'm ready for those balusters.
It's like on.
It's getting blurry because you went up close.
Oh, sorry. We've been watching.
There we go. I fixed this outfit. We're good.
We've been watching a lot of guys' grocery games, and I love it when the judges disagree. They're like, "You're like, actually, I love what you did here. I don't know what he's talking about. I think this is matte. Jamie thinks it's satin."
You could be right. Lori says, look up photos of the Midwest storms of 1978, your stockpile supplies. I think it's important to use what you stockpile. And so a lot of what we will do on the Jamie and Zeb channel is show you how we cook from our food storage. And literally in the wintertime, we go to the store every week, clearly, because there's like things that we need to get. But I don't like doing big stock ups. Like,
there's fresh
I
things.
don't want to spend 40 minutes outside when I'm loading up the car, I'm putting the cart back, I'm unloading the car, like all those things in the snow. So we just pick up less things and it's less dealing with the cold weather. I'm a wuss. We've lived in Utah for 15 years or whatever, 16 years.
Since 2007.
I am not used to it. I don't like the snow. I don't look forward to winter. I think it's pretty for about 2.3 seconds. So I'm not one of those that if I don't leave the house, I get depressed. I'm in my hibernation era right now. You know, people keep talking about their eras. That's my era. I'm happy to just work at home, work at the shop, go thrifting.
You know, it's funny because like everything I got Jamie for Christmas is going to assist her in enhancing her hibernation.
Like my home spa?
Not quite that. But what are you wanting?
The balusters. I just didn't want to reach across you.
No, you're Eliza was cracking up because she was with me when I was getting a couple of the things for And she's like, Mom is going to love that. And it's like, like the most basic thing, but it's something Jamie would never really buy for herself because she would think it would be frivolous.
I do occasionally like spend money on things and then I feel guilty about it. It's weird. I think it also comes from we were broke for a lot of years, and still sometimes we have money we got to reinvest in our business. So I think if I'm good with my money, then I can have more money later, or my kids will have more money. Is probably more likely.
It's good to be a good steward with what you've been blessed with.
And we do. I'm not saying we don't have nice things. I drive a nice car. In fact, somebody just
backed into in the parking lot.
Somebody backed into me yesterday as I was at Deseret Book. I did find, sorry, squirrel. I did find the little Price Nativity that I was looking for, the Fisher Price one, the little people at Deseret Book. So we will be able to deliver that on Friday to our very special foster kids that we're going to be visiting with. And while I was there, I decided to go to a few different stores because it's like Deseret Book, and then they have the pet store. I needed pet food. Then they had an Ulta. They had a Sportsman Warehouse. So I was like doing some Christmas shopping. And apparently I was there too long because somebody ran into the back of my Land Rover, and they left me a note. And I actually, some other Good Samaritan saw it happen and actually took a picture of their license plate just in case they didn't put anything on the note or in case I couldn't get a hold of them. They were very nice. Anyways.
Well, I've had people leave the note with the wrong number on there.
Yeah. So anyways, I went straight to Dent Master because that's where it's just on State Street in Lehigh, super convenient for us, and got an estimate. And it's not like a huge amount of damage, but when we talked to the owner of the car, because it was like a teenager or whatever that had done it, he was like, he's like, what kind of car you drive? Because he knew the limited amount of damage. I'm like, it's a Land Rover. Your granddaughter hit a Land Rover. Sorry. I felt bad. But I've been working really hard. All that to say, I've been working really hard to keep that car like dent free. So it's
actually hard when you do a lot of junking and you're throwing weird, random, misshapen stuff.
So it's pretty sad
all the time.
I've been trying to take really good care of it. It's smaller, but I love it because it seats 8 and I can fit a lot of junk and I can tow it. And it doesn't have the whistles and bells that like a Mercedes would have. But everything it does well. So I was pretty sad when it got hit yesterday. So I do like, and for us, it's a tax write-off. Like otherwise I would just drive the same old beat up Suburban for the rest of my life. Tax law is wild, y'all. So I'm cheap in that I won't buy something for myself that I view as frivolous.
Let's be honest. I buy the cars.
Also,
I'm like, do you like this one? Is that color looking okay? How's that seat feel? Is that passenger seat pretty good for you?
I'm always like, can't we just hold out as long as possible and not have to? But if I didn't get a tax write-off, Jamie wouldn't be buying that. I'm telling you right now. Jamie, don't play that.
The conversations that happen during these live streams is great. Okay. So this wood is still, even though it's got a coat of paint on it, is still kind of soaking up this sealer. So I'm just going to eyeball and center this. I feel good with that. I'll distress the edges. Okay. So liquid patina down on the wood. All right.
That's cute.
Now we're going to do a coat over the top. This coat, the rice paper is good about holding the colors where they're supposed to be, but anytime you're decoupaging, you don't want to overwork it. You want to get your medium on there, straighten out your brush strokes, and then walk away. And if it needs more coats, after you get that first or second coat on there, then you can start putting the sealer on heavier if it's going to need like more heavy use. Because eventually your paper will get fully saturated and the paper will wear out and start breaking.
Leslie said so true about those tax write-offs. Yeah, tax law is weird. Our accountant came over the other day and we got a talking to about things we needed to be doing. We have a very amazing CPA.
All right, so I'm going to distress this once it's dry so that everything looks a little more like cohesive, like it's been together for a little while. But this is just one of our A4 rice papers. I think these are $3.95 for one that's not seconds. If you want to do it, we have like 25 or 30 designs currently in this size.
We have a lot because they're easy to like print out. The bigger one and store, like the bigger ones require more space and storage in the store. we're trying to figure out like how we're going to ship. I think we're going to wind up the canvas prints and like larger prints are going to be shipped in tubes. But then I'm like, okay, how do I display these in my store? That's going to be interesting. I'm like, is it going to be like, do you remember when you used to buy posters at Walmart?
You had to have like one of those.
And they had those
They
flippy
still have
things?
them. They have them down there.
Like, where do they sell those? Because I feel like that's what
We
I'm
need
going
a
to
flip.
need.
I might have to make one with like some fun frames, and we can switch them out when we get new designs.
Zeb, what do you think about electric vehicles? Oh, I don't know that we want to talk about this. There's a lot of politics involved.
That's like
in
a whole
vehicles.
ball of politics wax that
The
we're
only
not
thing-
going to go into. I actually don't hate them. They've actually
I
started
feel like
making.
they have a long way to go.
They do. I feel, yes. Honestly, I feel like if they can crack the code on hydrogen vehicles, then we'd really have something.
I feel like they need to figure out what they're going to do with all those batteries and how they're going to mine them responsibly. So there's like a dual-edged sword. I'm all for anything that's going to be good for the environment because I like the earth. I live here. I just feel like there's more avenues. And it's so tough to like know the validity of things, right? Like you think you know something and then you do some research and you're like, oh, you don't know what you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
So
I do a lot of research. That can attest that I spent a lot of time reading articles about various things.
well, I feel like education is perpetual, right? Like just because you're not in school, you need to know about what's going on and, current technology and things like that. I actually think it's a great concept. I don't like the way that it's currently being managed or produced. It's pitched as environmentally friendly. I don't actually feel like it actually is
In some
that
ways.
friendly.
It is once you get to the electric part.
You know what I think is really good? In the UK, everybody's driving a diesel engine that gets like 40 miles, 60 miles to the gallon in their cars. I feel like that's a lot more effective.
So the way our diesel engines are regulated here in the States, they can't get the gas mileage that you can get in the UK. I think that's dumb. The electric cars, my problem is like if I'm going on a long trip, I don't want to stop and get it like I don't want to charge it, but we do own a golf cart. Does that count as electric vehicles?
So they have started making electric tractors, which is actually really cool. But I feel like for what we do, I'm probably, unless they can put like 1,000-mile range and quick charge that thing in the 10 minutes it's going to take me to fuel up my truck.
Because we're going to places without electricity.
To fuel up my truck and go get a snack in the convenience store, then I'm out because I don't have an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours when I'm traveling or going places. Typically my time frame is pretty short and I don't want to add that time to my trip. So I'm out. I'm never going to.
I think we have a lot of intelligent people in the world, and there are definitely some solutions that are going to come out, and we are here for it, whatever that winds up being.
Yep.
And we will always investigate all the things.
Look at that. We weren't going to open the ball of wax, and we opened it up and we rolled it all around the room.
The wax is rolled, so it is what it is. There's none that we looked into a Ford electric vehicle. We thought about it.
The Lightning.
But then we're like, no, we don't want to have to like charge it if we go on long trips or whatever. And we do do some junking trips, so they're a little further
Every
away.
now and then the truck's got to be able to drive a couple thousand miles.
Some of the electric vehicles are ugly. No offense. I won't mention brands in case somebody owns one, but Can you pass me one?
Yep.
Zeb, do you have prints with bees? Do we have prints with bees?
We have bees and barn.
Oh, yes.
It's a 20 by 30 tissue paper. I don't think I have one here to show you.
We need to do a little bee paper for spring. That's a good idea.
Yeah. But so the big printer is going to be used for, we're going to go away once the 20 by 30s that we currently have sell out. We're going to go, they're not going to be cheap to produce, I guess is what I'm saying. They're going to be more of like artwork, and the reason I got the big printer is because our current 20 by 30s was the max size we could get from our old manufacturer, and they don't fit on a lot of drawer frames. Like they go almost to the edge, and then you got like 3 inches on each side. And so we're trying to design some papers the right width and things that they'll work really great on furniture, like drawer fronts, without having to chop them all up and manipulate your design. We want them to be able to fit on that.
More like a transfer would be.
And then we're going to do some medium sizes as well, like a 17-inch size. just to have various price points and different options for people, because not everybody's doing dressers, right? Some people are just doing little small projects like I'm doing right here. And that's all they need it for. Paper crafters make notebooks with decoupage, you know?
So Dark and Decrepit is water-based. So when you get down to the bottom, you can scrape those sides, get all those little thick little situations in here, and you just stretch that out. Do not throw it away just because you get to the bottom of it. Just add some water and make it do. It will get a little bit thinner, but it'll work. I might should seal these, but I'm probably not gonna.
I actually have some really great bee images now that I'm thinking about it that we have licensed that I used on the big paper. That's a trick, like licensing all this art. Like I can't create all this art. I'm not that good at art.
Comment with what kind of papers you'd like to see and in what sizes. And then Caitlin can let us know after the live what your comments are, because I don't see all of them. And we will work on that, because we are doing design work. We're kind of slowing down with a lot of things, enjoying the holiday season. Sorry, but when I slow down, my brain
gets
doesn't
bored,
stop.
and we design stuff.
Yeah, we sit there, we do things, we watch movies, and then we browse our phones like everybody does. But instead of just browsing it,
isn't it crazy? Like you got a phone in your hand, you got a movie going, and you can't get off your phone.
Yeah, I wind up browsing my phone, and I get bored, and then I start doing work. So it's like relaxing, but also it's like important. I do some of my best design work while I'm getting a pedicure. It's how I justify getting pedicures. I'm telling you right now, so many stencils, craft kits, etc. have been designed while I'm sitting in the pedicure chair. Florals, Roman and famous statues, birds, words, postal, combination of butterflies. That's how we should do meetings in a pedicure chair.
We do our meetings on the track when we walk in the morning.
Well, Caitlin's talking about me.
Oh, yes.
And
you and Caitlin.
Yes.
Caitlin, I had a pedicure one time in my life.
You told me you'd go again the other day.
I was going to take you because, you know, I felt like you needed it.
I did need a date.
But
you still didn't really do that.
I know, we got busy.
We had kid stuff.
But like if I need them, I'm expecting like a full blown foot massage, right? And they're like lightly rubbing lotions on my feet. I'm like, what are you doing? Knock it off. You're just tickling me.
So if you go to the right person, they do better. But yeah, I'm less about like that my toes are perfect and more about rub my feet.
Yeah, I don't care if my toenails look great.
That
is not why I came.
Zeb, we have a massage gun that I bought for Christmas. Was the last year or the year before? 2 years ago, maybe. And Zeb likes to use that. We actually have a big old fancy massage chair in our room that my mom bought.
She was going to use it, but she didn't want it in her room. So it landed in our room, and now she doesn't ever use it.
No, she said it's too hard.
Yeah.
I've got speckles on my other ones. Luckily, I'm painting over that. Okay, as soon as you're done with that, I've got to get milk paint mixed up. All right, we're getting there, guys. It's 10:50. We might go a little over. If Caitlin, if you got to go somewhere, I know you got all our Christmas stuff to do. I will monitor comments. When you work as much as all of us do, we kind of put things off till the last minute. So we all got lists. Our goal is to be done by Thursday with video content, which I think we'll be able to do that. So today we're going to pre-record Saturday's Thrift Haul.
It's going to be a lot of work today and tomorrow. But
we'll be on Saturday's Thrift Haul, but we just decided that we did not want to mess with pulling everything out, getting it over to the shop. So we're taking care of that now, so that way we can enjoy our Saturday. And we'll hop on and maybe we'll hop on as Jamie and Zeb. That way, if we comment, they know it's us and not Caitlin, and then Caitlin can be on there dropping links under Jamie Ray Vintage. So we'll be there watching ourselves commenting with you, which is actually kind of fun. So I'm like, no, don't do that. What'd you just say? But I'm talking to myself. But yeah, we're going to get everything done. And then Friday, Saturday, we're just going to do Christmas stuff. We've got to do neighbor gifts. I just ordered my containers. So Deb and I got to decide.
We've had a bunch of great neighbors bringing us stuff. And we're like, oh, hey, thank you.
Now we got to do it. Should we we could film whatever we make for neighbor gifts and put it on Jamie and Zeb. That might be fun. Figure out what treat we want to do. It's got to be something we can make in bulk. Maybe we'll just make some Chex Mix.
So these papers don't quite fit these boards. I think they're close to 12 or 13 inches long, and the papers are 11 and like 11.7 on the A4 size. You could just, once you get this on here, just take it to your garage and miter saw that off, or, you know, cut them to size appropriately beforehand. These are just what we had. But now that's ready to just, you know, go hang out wherever you need a little flower in your life.
I think they'll be great once they dry, like distress them a little bit and then dark wax around the edge.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
To add some variation. Okay, do you want to keep decoupaging or do you want to make me some milk paint?
I'll do one more and then I'll make you some milk paint now and then I'll do one more.
Okay, so milk paint comes in powder form. True milk paint will not come pre-mixed.
What color do you want?
Let's do Sweetie Jane.
I thought you wanted the white.
Oh yeah, maybe the white first, because I'm going to do that on the little candlesticks. There's a big old bag of white. One of those big bags is white. One of them is Sweetie Jane.
Looking at me.
You can get milk paint by the gallon. I actually think you can even get 5 gallons. Caitlin, do we have that up on our website?
Warm water, hot water.
Mushrooms are cute for paper. We actually did. Caitlin, will you link our mushroom clock? We had somebody that bought it after our video last week, but they bought it before we updated the photo. Well, we had already done it when she bought it. She bought it. We had put mushrooms on the front and hadn't updated the photo because it was nighttime. And so we contacted her just to make sure, did she still want it? Because I knew she hadn't seen us put the mushrooms on it and she didn't. So we wound up relisting it, but it is the cutest little mushroom clock. That's up on the website. If you guys don't know, we have JamieRayVintage.com. That's where you can get all these paint products. And if you go Saturday Thrift Haul, anything that we've made over is going to be, like any of our thrift flips will be there. I am seriously scraping. There was like this much.
Are you going to get them all done though?
Yeah. I am making this work.
That's kind of thin. I need to add more.
So milk paint, you mix up 1 part warm water to 1 part milk paint. You can make it any thickness that you want to. Only mix up what you're going to be using though, because it doesn't keep. It pretty much keeps indefinitely. This is real thin.
In powder form. It's powder, but once you mix it up, it doesn't keep.
All right. We're going to move this over here out of the way.
Because just like the name, it's milk paint.
It does go bad. All right, I can officially throw this out. I have used every scrap little piece of this container.
You're going to have to rehydrate those strings. The stringies.
I'm going to put this in water. Actually, I might use this to paint those candlesticks because it just works better. This little brush. This is the Turquoise Iris Assistant. And when I'm painting small little home decor, I actually really, really love it. I know she uses it for fine art, Dion does, of the Turquoise Iris, but we use it for junk. And we sell these at JamieRayVintage.com.
There you have it.
Mako said all the wood came out great. All right, let's get to milk painting. So these are still drying. Move those out of the way. I want to move this over here so you guys can see what I'm doing.
So this
you want your layers to be really dry.
This one here is not rice paper. This was an original prototype paper that got in the mix. It'll still decoupage fine.
Yeah, sometimes you'll wind up in the seconds, you'll get prototypes, or like if we do a craft kit and we have leftover stuff, we don't sell it on the mains, like because it's usually specific to the craft kit. Which reminds me, I need to follow up. My wood wall pockets were supposed to ship on the 15th. They did not, so I need to follow up with the manufacturer. I think, let me see. I'm actually going to go into orders.
You're going to do that right now?
I'm doing it right now. They created the label yesterday.
Okay,
so
well, that was the 19th.
Today, so and they're from Utah.
It's the 20th.
So I should get it tomorrow or Friday. So when we get back from Christmas,
well, it may have been a larger
we should be able to do the craft kit video so you guys know what you're getting.
I kind of like this paper.
Oh, Caitlin wants to remind people that the gift cards are still on sale. If you buy $50, you get a $10 code. $100, you get $20 code, and $150, you get $30 code. And that runs until, when does that end, Caitlin?
I think we end it at Christmas.
I know it runs at least through Christmas.
I think we end it like Christmas Day.
And it's valid on anything that's not already on sale or DIY paint products, because you can use the gift card on anything, but you can't use any coupon or deal on DIY paint. It ends 12/25, so Christmas at 11:59 p.m. All right, I am going to it's going to be at least 2 coats of milk paint on here, so I'm going to go ahead and get painting like crazy and get these done.
Oh, I got to get more on here. It's curling.
White always takes more coats because it's not got pigment in it like the other colors. But you did a nice job. Like, this is a really good thickness in this milk paint.
Yeah, I just kind of worked my way up to it.
If your milk paint gets a little thick, because that does happen after it sits for a while, just add more water to it. If you let it sit too long, like after a couple hours, you're going to get gelatinous, and then it ain't never coming back after that. One down, 42 to go. The nice thing about that cottage colors is these actually literally, because they're wood, they didn't have any sheen to them, you cannot see any brush strokes. Like, it just laid so flat down into that wood grain.
Well, it's got a leveler in it.
Yeah, it's got self-leveler.
And it works good.
I don't worry if my milk paint's not perfect, because I'm going to sand this. So if there's chunks on it, that's fine. If you want your milk paint to be mixed up better, then you're going to want to use an immersion blender. You can pick this up at the thrift store or like on Amazon or like your local home supply store, wherever you get kitchen gadgets. We buy them at the thrift store whenever we can. We need to have an immersion blender for soups, because we can never use ours because we use it for other things.
I need to make more soup again. It was good, and we ate it all pretty quickly in like 3-4 days.
So I'm using flour sack. This is 35% off right now. So if you think you're going to need flour sack in the next year, buy it now. Get yourself a gallon of it. You won't be sorry. Get yourself 2 gallons of it, because 35% off is the best deal you're going to get on it. And it will come in handy for a variety of projects. You can also pick up the red wagon, or whatever the other red color is. The discount comes off. The discount comes off when you check out.
It's automatic.
Yumiko says she's making oatmeal raisin cookies while we craft.
Oh, delicious.
I need to make ginger snaps, although mine are ginger chewies. They're not super. We like
They're not snappy.
Yeah, we like our ginger snaps chewy. Oh, red wagon and Salem red, and then flour sack or snow white in the farmhouse finishes. So the only difference between our milk paint and our farmhouse finishes is farmhouse finishes has a built-in bond. So like in this kind of an application, because we want it to be chippy, I would not use farmhouse finishes. I feel like milk paint is going to make our life a lot easier here. Snow white. Is that what I said? Yeah, that's what it is. And even though I'm doing this technique on these little tiny sample pieces here, you could do the same thing on a piece of furniture. So whenever you see us do a paint technique on thrift flips, if you want to do furniture, if you're not into thrift flipping, you can just do the same thing on furniture. It's fine. And if you've never done anything, I suggest starting on little things, so that way it's more manageable. It's not as overwhelming. I always love it when I get the message. I've never painted anything in my life, and I'm now painting my grandma's heirloom dresser. Do you have any advice for me? And my first advice is usually, well, don't.
Paint something small.
Paint something small, and then work your way up. Do not start with a family heirloom on your very first large paint project. It's probably not your best idea, or first paint project ever. Figure out what you like, what you don't like, how the brush feels in your hand, what paint products you're going to use, which work out well, and then go from there.
So I've used 1 pack of Seconds rice paper to do these 4 boards, and I'll show them to you all together here in a minute. They're not dry yet, so I don't know if I'm going to get to distressing them, because I want them to be nice and dry before I distress them, or otherwise I just smear the paper around and mush the designs. But not every pack is going to have these same papers, so don't think that like if you're buying a seconds pack that you're getting all of these designs.
Yeah, it could be a myriad. It could be holiday papers. You just never know. All right. Somebody wanted to know how much these were unpainted. I don't have any unpainted currently. I've now painted them all. So, but when I buy them at the thrift store, I'll pay like up to $2 a piece for them. And these will probably sell for like, I don't know. Since I'm doing a layered paint finish, depending on how many layers, probably like $10 to $12 each. I need to.
I've seen them at craft stores and stuff. I think they're usually about $4.
$4 or $5. Raw.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, but we don't sell them raw. I don't have a source for them, at least currently. These we bought secondhand a million years ago. They came out of the barn. Chewy cookies are always better. I actually don't mind crunchy cookies if I have like milk.
Gotta have some milk. Dip it.
Dippy cookies, I want milk. And apparently not a lot of adults drink milk. I don't know. I hear that all the time.
Seems weird to me. I consume
I love milk.
So much milk.
Yeah, there's like whole families that like they can't even buy it by the gallon because they don't drink enough milk. When Harrington was growing up, we drank a gallon a day.
What are you baking with?
I don't know. Can you fix the camera when you get a chance?
Yeah, right now.
I would fix it, but Zeb doesn't like for me to touch the camera. For very good reason. I always mess it up. Shelly says we go through a lot of milk.
Yeah, we'll drink. I mean, even right now, we'll
drink probably 3/4 of a gallon a day. Especially, well, we're going to be going through a lot.
We usually go through about, when the kids are home, especially in the summertime, we'll go through 6 gallons a week.
When we had a milk cow, which if you didn't know, we sold Buttercup, but when we had a milk cow, we did drink more milk than normal just because we had to like use it up, and it was so good. But now we're buying our milk. Costco has A2 organic milk. It's not raw, but that's what we're drinking. It's pretty tasty. I'm hoping that Ballerina Farms gets their dairy production up and they have enough cows for demand. And we will get some raw milk from them.
Yeah, because they got a bunch of Jersey cows with the A2. Redmond Farms sells it down at IFA.
Yeah, but it's not A2. It's just raw milk. They have Holsteins. Yep.
Oh, that makes it tough.
Yep. So. Well, some people have lactose problems and they can't drink milk. I get that. I have a daughter who's lactose intolerant. She's better now because she had raw milk. Legit, sometimes people think they're lactose intolerant and really it's just the kind of milk they're drinking. I'm not a health professional, but I can say I've done a lot of research. If you can get raw Jersey milk, I have had some people when we had a cow, they would say that they could drink that regular milk bothered them, but they could drink an entire glass of raw Jersey milk and have no problems with their stomach.
All right, so this will tone back down once it dries. It'll be all clear. Okay, I'm not gonna heat gun them, but this is the first one I did, because if you heat gun them, sometimes they bubble. I just want to show you how well this sucked the paper down. The rice paper just, as it dries, it just sticks down to the board, which is why we ultimately went with it. We tested probably 60, 70 different paper types before we landed on this. And super happy with it, with the way these turn out, especially if you have a decoupage project that's not just a flat piece of wood, which if you got the craft kit or are getting the craft kit, you're going to get a piece of paper that goes with that. And it's a round surface, which is going to be perfect. It'll work really good.
Shannon says I make Christmas crack. I was thinking about that. Is that the one with the saltines? I feel like you can make that in like bulk. What? Yeah, it's like saltines with caramel and chocolate.
So this one's pretty wet still. It hasn't dried and sucked it down. It's got a couple little bubbles, but still doing pretty good. And then this one I just did, and this one was different paper. This one was not the rice paper. This was a prototype that we tested that made its way into the seconds pack. and this is the amaryllis if you're looking for it. But this one has a big bubble, which, ultimately why it got voted off the island. You can fix that later afterwards, but you got to let it dry, and then you can iron it with like some wax paper in between, and that'll sometimes pull it down and flatten out the bubbles.
Oh, you know what? Oh, Julia, can you drop Eliza off at Tumbling? 11:45. It's just in Lehigh. Dad and I are going to have to make breakfast. Everybody's starving. So our kids don't actually get out of school for a couple of days, but they're not doing anything at school right now. We have a couple kids that are a little under the weather.
Sick.
So we're keeping everybody home. Eliza's not sick. She's just here because she had a vision problem. She couldn't see herself going to school when finals were already done.
Well,
we live in an amazing state where as long as they get good grades and they don't miss too many days, we get to do what we want as parents, and I love that.
Here's the thing that's hard with our kids. They all get like really good grades. Eliza is a 4.0 student. So if she wants to miss a day every now and then because she's just not feeling it, she wants to phone it in, I'm like, whatever. As long as your grades stay good, I'm not going to sweat it.
Yeah. So we're all starting break early. Redrick came home yesterday because he had a snotty nose and was done with his test. And Jack actually missed his Christmas sing because he wasn't feeling good yesterday. But today, Eliza's just home because she's done. She's got all of her stuff done.
She's like, Dad, they're just watching movies in all my classes. Do I have to go? I'm like, no, actually, you don't.
Yeah, if they're not going to actually be teaching you, then we're good.
So I had these little pieces left over from those that are still usable. We use them on a little project somewhere. We'll hang on to them because, just like the scrap pieces of wood, I'm going to hang on to those. Not going to get rid of them.
They use thin pretzel. Oh, the pretzel thins. Oh, those would be yummy for Christmas crack.
What?
There's no subbing jobs. They probably just combined classes because we're probably not the only parents that didn't send their kids to school. The problem is, though, then by the end of Christmas break, my kids are like, oh, where do they go back to school? Ojilia's a substitute teacher, and there were no jobs today.
No work. Everybody showed up, or they filled in.
Like I said, if teachers are gone, but there's not enough kids in the other classes, they probably just combine classes. They're not doing anything. Yeah, they're having Christmas parties. I think Jack had his Christmas party the other day. I was going to do different colors on these, but I don't want to waste the milk paint. So.
Well, and I mixed up enough so that you could paint them all.
Oh. Well, we need to paint those balusters, but I want a different color for those.
Do we look dark? Or is that just the angle I'm seeing the computer?
No, I feel like we look a little dark. So I got to stand up. My back was getting sore from sitting in that chair. Getting old, guys. Sometimes Deb and I will be sitting at wrestling tournaments and we're like, ooh, our back.
Well, it's on bleachers. Can't sit on bleachers. I don't remember enjoying sitting on bleachers when I was 20.
We're going to be a hot minute. It's already 11:11.
Well, I might just let some of these dry and come back to them instead of heat gunning all of them.
You got to heat gun at least a couple. We got to show them the technique.
Yeah.
So
well, they're not actually crackling and chipping.
Well, you got to wet distress them.
Yeah.
I'm going to second coat them. We're going to dry that. Then we're going to wet distress. Then we're going to heat gun, and that's where the chippy's going to come in.
Okay, this one's ready. Why don't you, after that one, let's wet distress this one.
Well, I got to second coat it. It needs 2 coats of paint.
Where's the gray one?
I don't know.
Good luck. Get some more colors.
Make sure to get down in the holes. They're still wet.
Are you going to distress down there?
I don't know. This doesn't really matter, huh? All right. Second coat going on. The first coat always looks bad. The second coat usually gives you pretty good coverage, especially on raw wood. If this was a shiny surface, you might have to do 3 or 4 coats to get full coverage, but not on raw wood.
Do you have some that is this one just... Okay, that one's just the dark and decrepit stain. This one might get crackle and chippy because she just painted this one. Hasn't had a chance to soak down in.
When we first put our nutcrackers outside, the dogs were barking at them like crazy.
So we moved the nutcrackers over here from the shop. They're kind of creepy looking.
We're gonna paint them next year.
They got eyes that are like real big.
And they
And
follow
they like
you.
move side to side.
And they sing super loud. Yes, I did see what Cooper said. We had to turn the music off because we could hear it inside the house. It was just a little much. All right, so that one's second coated. We do have bleacher chairs. Some we just forget to bring them. We remember them for football season.
Well, and even still, like, I don't know, unless you get like the big foamy ones that make you feel like you're sliding off of them.
The problem with the wrestling is that you're moving around a lot, and I don't want to haul them everywhere. Chair tournaments, they work out okay because the people come to you. But wrestling, they move all over the place, different mats.
Yeah, they're on mat 10 or mat 7 or mat 4, you know. It's actually a lot to keep track of at wrestling.
Yeah, there's not like a giant board somewhere. You got to use this app, and then you got to hope that you have internet.
I was going to say, hope you have service. So what we're doing here is we're forcing the crackle with the heat gun. If you still got wet paint or if it didn't crack and chip as much as you wanted, because it's going to be different every time. Milk paint.
Well, raw wood is hard.
Milk paint reacts to different surfaces differently. So depending on what you painted over or on, it's going to react differently. So you might have to force some of the chippy.
All right, I'm just going to get one last base coat on this. And then I'm going to grab a rag and then I'll start wet distressing and then hand them back to you to heat gun.
Yep.
And then we'll bring them up close so you guys can see what's going on with them.
It's kind of fun that we have this many of them.
I know.
I was expecting to find a couple because I knew they were back there. But how many did we get? Like 16?
14. I did 5 of the
14.
dark, 5 of the cottage color and Americana, and 4 gray, I think. If I remember correctly. All right. Washcloth. So this is a damp rag, and I'm going to wet distress this and hand it back to Zeb to dry.
We have done this with a blow dryer before, but the heat gun works better.
All right, dry that one, see what happens.
This is just dying for like a beeswax candle with some drips over the side.
Yeah. Now you're getting the crackles.
Yep. It's crackling right on up.
And that one's ready.
I'll bring these close because I know you probably can't see any of this crackle.
Every now and then you got to rinse your rag out so you're not just smearing white watered down paint.
That one didn't get as chippy.
Here. Okay, try that.
That's good.
We will finish all these today. And
honestly, like a dark wax will really bring this out.
Yeah. But yeah, you're getting some crackle on there.
Yep.
That one's pretty wet. All
Well,
right.
this one wasn't quite dry and you had to stress it. Got a lot off on this one.
All right. Let's
Here,
see.
show them this one. It turned out the best.
Well, this one's doing pretty
Is
good.
that
Give
one
it a
pretty
minute.
good?
You guys see the crackle on there? And as it dries naturally, it will start to like the flake off and chip.
Oh, you
so
made it
gotta
real blurry.
Sorry. So you can see the crackle on there. You could also use like a crackle medium, but then you get bigger crackle.
Yeah, we don't use the crackle medium. The crackle medium super often, but it does work really well. We also carry that if you need it, if you need some.
All right, you want to show them these ones up close? These ones didn't really crackle as much.
They weren't quite dry when you had distressed, and then you just kind of
you burned
wiped
that
it off. Yeah, I got a little excited.
It's okay, we'll just chip that one.
I think you showed them. They got cracky.
You got cracky. Try keep getting that one again. Okay, you're going to show them your little pieces.
All together.
11:19. The kids are getting hungry, so.
Well, it's their fault for not eating before 10.
That is true. We're going to keep working on all these, and we're going to keep getting the cracky chippy crackle. And then we'll decide if we dark wax them or not, and we'll show up close on Facebook and Instagram, and then I will try to remember to put it in community in case you just do YouTube. But we're just going to keep on working getting our projects done. It's turned out pretty good. This one I think needs more liquid patina.
It doesn't. It's a different paper.
Oh, it's not Decor.
Nope, I'm going to have to wait till that dries, and then we're going to iron it down.
Oh, okay.
It was one of the prototype papers that didn't make the cut, which is why it's in the
What
seconds.
projects are you using these for? I don't know what.
This is the project.
These are the projects. I'm just going to get these all finished. I'll take pictures of them and get them listed.
Well, knocked them all down. There we go. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Somebody made fun of my chipple situation. If you guys need paint and products or you want to buy our thrift flips, visit JamieRayVintage.com. Make sure you hit subscribe so you never miss a video, and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right. We will catch you later this week. We're going to do a couple more.